Quite early on, we came up with a very clear decision that was, it's not going to be paid staff and volunteers. It was one team, and we were really keen to just make sure that that was communicated in every sense of the word. So in actual fact, we didn't use the word volunteer very often. We used Team 2011. We absolutely wanted to give the message that everyone was critical to the success of the tournament, and it worked. Everyone was critical to the success of the tournament, and all the early indications are that it's being viewed as a huge success by everyone, by the people that came here from overseas, by the media, by the foreign media in particular, who are very particular and critical about things like this, to the New Zealand Rugby Union, to the government. I think we did our job really well. It sounds like a lot of money, but you think about what it would have cost if we hadn't had a volunteer workforce. If we had to go out and hire all those people to run the tournament, it would have been hugely more expensive than that. So, I think fantastic value for money in the end. In terms of the overall team, we grew to about 28 people throughout the life cycle, and that included a help desk, all of our training team, the recruitment process, all of the management during the tournament. So we had regional workforce managers around the country that were responsible for that workforce within each of those regions. So it was a pretty decent sized team to pull together the volunteer program. We were really conscious that this was a very popular event, and that at other mega events like this around the world, lots of people apply. And so what we wanted to do was to get out there and really sell the program, but also manage expectations. And so in June 2010, we went around the country, and I think we did something like 38 presentations in 28 days, from Keri to Invercargill. And we actually went through a reasonably slick presentation. We were up front and said that there will be training, and it will take about somewhere between 10 and 16 hours to do that, depending on the role that they were allocated. We were very clear that they were going to have to wear a uniform, that there was going to be standing for long periods of time, that it might be cold and wet, and that it really was a job. And so we wanted to put that expectation out there really early. But we also wanted to let them know that this was going to be a very special event. We also wanted them to know that they would make friends for a lifetime, and that they would get an immense amount of just intrinsic value out of doing what they were doing. We really wanted people that were proud of their town, proud of their country, proud of rugby, and really wanted to show that off. And so, it was a mixture of setting the scene and really building it up and saying, and here's why you should be involved. We got them for about 5 minutes face to face with an interviewer. Some lasted a bit longer, some a bit less, and that was really their chance to sell themselves to us. And we did that right around the country in some areas, like for instance in Auckland, I think we did 14 days of interviews. So it was pretty extensive and pretty hard work. We, as an organisation, had been talking about a stadium of 4 million hosts, and so that was very much part of what we were looking for through the volunteers as well. We did some branding work around how we wanted the brand to appear and the people to respond to that brand. And one of the things that we had as our core philosophy was that we wanted to welcome the world with open arms. And I talked during those presentations about welcoming people into our hearts and our homes, and giving them the best possible experience. And I think from my perspective, in order for the spectators and the people that were being serviced by the volunteers to have an excellent experience, we needed to give the volunteers an excellent experience. And I like to think that we did that right across the board.
Doing Rugby World Cup, awesome experience. Totally enjoyed it. They've totally enjoyed meeting new people. And also the tourists, some of them have got some really good stories to tell.
And a great bunch of people, from different walks of life, different age groups, different nationalities.
It's been fantastic fun, really. Offering hospitality is how I see it.
Volunteering has been awesome. It is fantastic to be able to show off our city and see people enjoy it and encounter it for the first time, and just I guess through their eyes you get to reappreciate the things that you take for granted.
So the fact that they had been through such a robust process to get to their first shift, they'd already invested so much, you know, and so the people that dropped out were really people that dropped out for very genuine reasons. They had a family sickness, or you know, they'd got a new job, or something happened that was pretty genuine. Because they'd already done probably 10 to 12 hours of training, they'd already been to 2 presentations, the selection interview, you know, they'd been for their uniform fitting, they'd picked up their uniform, their accreditation, so they'd already, you know, we'd hooked them in so many different times that it was almost impossible for them to drop out. You know, they'd already invested so much.
Picking up my uniform, so I'm pretty excited. It means that things are actually getting underway and it's all really happening now, so it's really cool. Next step, I've got another workshop on Saturday, which is pretty exciting because it's my role specific kind of stuff, so I'll learn a bit about what I'm actually doing because I'm not 100% sure yet what the role kind of entitles, so that'll be pretty exciting, and meeting the people I'm going to be working with, so that's cool. Since picking up my uniform, we've had 4 pool matches here in Wellington, 2 of which were last weekend, so double header. I've worked last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, so I'm definitely getting to know everything and actually getting to know rugby much more. Yes, I'm doing some pretty big hours, but I definitely haven't been doing as long as I've been scheduled onto, so that's been a plus side. They've been letting me go earlier. I was scheduled on for 1:30 a.m. finishes, so pretty happy to have finished earlier than those and then start my normal job on Monday. Yeah, I've got a lot of gain out of it myself personally, so, and I'm definitely learning a lot of volunteer type skills that I can take back to surf life saving, so it's positive. I think Rugby 2011 have been treating us really well as volunteers. I think sometimes you almost feel a little bit at the bottom ground level with the other staff that are paid, but they definitely try and include you in all their major decisions and stuff like that, and yeah, they look after you very well, so I definitely feel appreciated and part of the jigsaw puzzle that if I wasn't here then they'd be kind of stuffed.
When I reflect back on the actual tournament and the number of issues that we had compared to what I thought we might have, it was very, very small, and I think that's a credit to both the selection process and also the training that we did beforehand. I think from a legacy perspective, there are a number of opportunities. You know, first of all, there's a great bunch of people within not only the volunteer program but all of Rugby New Zealand 2011 that they now absolutely know and understand the value of volunteering. Then there's of course all the volunteers, all the people that have been through the training and the shifts and the experience, and some of these people are really hungry for more. But more than that, I think there's also a general population now who have seen the highly visible volunteers. They've seen the way they conducted themselves, how positive and friendly they were, and I think there's an opportunity for us to tap into the general public of New Zealand. We've been pointing people to VolunteerNet and really encouraging them to step up and do something new and different and keep the volunteer spirit alive. If you're looking to run an event and you're going to need volunteers, or you think you might need volunteers, my advice is don't undervalue it. Get into it early and go through VolunteerNet. You know, register as an organisation or an event in there, and see what you can do to pull in some of those volunteers. I talked to lots and lots of volunteers during the tournament, and I had this one driver in Auckland, and he said to me, he said, you won't remember me, but I came to that very first presentation you did in North Harbour in July 2010. And he said, I was so inspired by that presentation, I went home and registered that very day. You know, and for me that's fantastic, because then we've had someone that's come right through the journey with us. And I said, so has it been good? And he said, it's been unbelievably outstanding. I've got so much out of it. You know, for me that's the success, that's the factor.